Did you know that when you sign a contract or a court decides who owns land, you're connecting with a world over 1,500 years old? The laws that shape our lives have deep roots that reach back to ancient Rome. Many core principles of today's legal systems began with a monumental Roman effort to organize the law. This connection is like a ghost in our law books, an invisible presence shaping justice and fairness. Concepts like innocent until proven guilty and using evidence in court are ancient legacies. They're the echoes of people who tried to build a just society centuries ago. This is the story of one of history's most important legal documents. It's about an emperor with a vision to bring order to 1,000 years of chaotic Roman law. He aimed to create a single, logical system that would unite his empire and endure. That emperor was Justinian I, ruling from the heart of the Byzantine Empire, Constantinople. Here, Justinian would launch a project that would bridge the wisdom of Rome to the future. His work became the legal DNA of nations yet to be born. Justinian I wasn't born to power. He was a peasant son from the Balkans. His uncle Justin rose through the military to become emperor and brought Justinian to Constantinople for the best education. Justinian studied history, theology, and most importantly, law. Ambitious and tireless, he dreamed of restoring Roman greatness. When he became emperor in 527, the Western Empire had already collapsed. Justinian launched campaigns to reclaim lost lands and built wonders like the Hagia Sophia. But he knew military victories and monuments weren't enough. A true empire needed clear, unified laws, a foundation for justice and order. Justinian believed law was the glue of society, protecting everyone from nobles to farmers. Without it, his dream would crumble. He saw law as both a practical tool and a sacred duty. A unified code would streamline governance and reduce corruption. For Justinian, law was an expression of divine will, so he set out to untangle a millennium of Roman law and forge it into a single, lasting system. Before Justinian's reforms, the Byzantine legal system was chaos. Laws from centuries of emperors, jurists, and republics piled up, contradictory, confusing, and hard to find. Judges and lawyers faced a nightmare. Solving cases meant sifting through mountains of conflicting texts. Ordinary people suffered. Justice depended on wealth and legal expertise. The system was slow, corrupt, and unfair. Different regions decided similar cases differently, making law feel arbitrary. For Justinian, this legal mess threatened the empire's unity and strength. Trade, governance, and justice all suffered. Previous emperors ignored the problem, but Justinian saw the need for radical change. He decided to completely overhaul Roman law. In 528, just a year after taking the throne, Justinian began his legal revolution. He assembled a team of top legal minds, led by the brilliant Tribonian. Their mission sift through centuries of Roman law and create a new, definitive code. The first step was organizing imperial decrees, thousands of edicts scattered across the empire. The team read, debated, and edited, discarding outdated or contradictory laws. They modernized language and combined overlapping rules. Their goal wasn't just to collect laws, but to refine and clarify them for their own time. In 529, they published the Codex Constitutionum, a single logical source for imperial law. All previous collections became obsolete overnight. For the first time in ages, the empire had a unified legal code, but the hardest part remained, tackling the vast writings of Roman jurists. The real intellectual challenge was just beginning. Justinian's vision demanded nothing less. Next, Justinian and Tribonian faced the mountain of Roman legal scholarship. Millions of lines from jurists like Ulpian and Gaius. A new commission, again led by Tribonian, had to read, select, and edit the best ideas from this massive library. They condensed centuries of debate into clear, relevant principles, cutting contradictions and outdated opinions. The result, after 3 years, was the Digest 50 volumes, over 9,000 excerpts, all organized by topic. For the first time, the wisdom of Rome's greatest legal minds was accessible and systematic. The Digest became the intellectual heart of the new legal system. Justinian's team had turned a chaotic library into a tool for justice. Justinian's legal masterpiece is called the Body of Civil Law. It's actually 4 works: the Imperial Laws, the Juris Writings, a student textbook, and the new laws issued after the main project. They gathered all valid imperial decrees, updated in 534, that provided the reasoning and principles behind the laws, that made the law accessible to students, ensuring future generations learned a unified system. They collected Justinian's later laws, many written in Greek. Together, these 4 works replaced centuries of confusion with a single, comprehensive legal code. That was meant to be the final word on law for the empire. It unified, clarified, and modernized Roman legal tradition. Justinian's vision was now reality, a legal system built to last. Its influence would reach far beyond Byzantium. After Justinian's death, the Byzantine Empire struggled, and in Western Europe, Roman law faded as local customs took over. But the memory of Roman law survived, especially in the Catholic Church's canon law. The full was mostly forgotten in the West, until a dramatic rediscovery in 11th century Italy. Scholars at the University of Bologna found a copy of the Digest and were amazed by its depth and logic. This sparked a legal renaissance. Students from across Europe flocked to study Roman law. They wrote commentaries, applied its principles, and saw in it a universal standard of justice. The University of Bologna became the center of legal learning. Justinian's Code, once hidden, began to shape European law again. The light of Roman law was rekindled, guiding the development of more orderly societies. The rediscovery changed European history. The wisdom of Justinian's Code was alive once more. Graduates of Bologna spread Roman law across Europe, becoming advisors, judges, and lawmakers. They wove Justinian's principles into national legal systems, creating the civil law tradition. Countries like France, Germany, and Spain built their codes on the Napoleonic Code, hugely influential worldwide, drew directly from Justinian's work. Through colonialism, civil law spread to Latin America, Africa, and Asia. Today, most countries' legal systems are shaped by these principles. Even common law nations, like the US and UK, reflect Roman influence in areas like contracts and property. Justinian's dream of a universal law had in many ways come true. The story of the Justinian Code is more than history. It's a reminder of our deep connection to the past. Our legal systems are built on the ambitions and work of those who came before us. Justinian's Code is a vital link in the chain of justice, showing how one effort can echo for centuries. He couldn't have imagined his laws would shape nations he never knew. Understanding this history helps us appreciate the foundations of our own world. Law is a human creation, always evolving, always building on the past. The Justinian Code is a story of preservation and change, one that still shapes our lives today. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the roots of justice.